lot of times HR is always kind of wondering how they stack up when it comes to their policies. And I'm curious what role Tilt's benchmarking or data plays in helping HR kind of determine where they maybe could be improving their policies and procedures, or where they can go to say like, hey, we're doing this great.
Oh my gosh. So that's a great question. I feel like our customers eat that up because that is so important for one. It gives them a pulse, I would say, in understanding, are their policies up to standard? And like there's no necessarily like policy standard, but there's always a starting point or a running point or a runway of like what is the gold standard for benefits. And in the space of leave, because we work with so many different leave types, it's always interesting where our customers start. And obviously, it's going to range from company size and where they are in the segment of the market to who their benefit provider is and what that leave type is. I would say for a lot of the customers that I find that use the benchmarking data is to their advantage of being able to say, nope, we want our employees to have the best leave benefit for this. We're going to change our policy. I've been working with a customer since I started here, but the conversation about their leave policy of making this change has been happening for at least over a year. And that customer worked with us to say, okay, I've got the benchmarking data, but how can I work to make this language be better so that our compliance team or our legal counsel, I should say, is going to accept it when we continue to track changes. So that conversation, I think maybe a week and a half ago, we're at a point where they gave them the green light from like over a year ago, we're talking, to now say, we're going to add more benefits to our parental leave, to our medical leave, to our caregiver leave. And I think that actually changed something also around being able to use other benefits that they didn't have, but because they saw that from the benchmarking data, it was like a light bulb. Benefits make or break a company. It's one of the reasons why an employee will choose. An employee has a choice, right? And if you as a customer, as a business, know what your employees come to you for, and that's a selling point, then it's up to you to continue to make it better. And as leave laws change and as benefits change, you find that some companies may have employees in states that have zero leave benefits, right? I'm not going to mention those states, but like there's more than half of the US has no leave laws in the states. There's only about 16 states right now, if I'm not mistaken. I think we're getting closer to having almost 20 by 2026, if not more. But for those that do have those leave laws, those companies want to say, okay, we have employees in these states. What can we do? And that's where Tilt comes into play because it allows that HR person or that benefits analyst to say, here's the data. Data tells a really good story. We're helping our customers tell a story to their HR people, to their C-suite team to say, if we want to keep retention, if we want to keep morale up, if we want to keep employees wanting to come to work for us, then this is how we need to shift the conversation about the story that we're telling. Why are employees wanting to come to work for us? Because we offer a great benefits package for a parental leave. For that mom, they may need to have 4 weeks of disability and doesn't get that from their state benefit, but our company can offer it to them 100% paid, right? That's a huge win. When in some cases, a mom who goes out on maternity leave to go have their baby because their state doesn't have a benefit, and maybe sometimes that company only has a 4 to 6 week parental leave, and then to have an extra 4 weeks from disability to get to 8 to 12 weeks, that is a huge win. But they only learned that because they came to Tilt and because we gave them the data to tell them, oh, we need to make changes. We have to shift something here. We need to tell a different story so that our employees still stay engaged, our employees stay with us. For that one customer that I've been working with since the last 6 months, their beyond excited to like present this. Like it took them so long to just get to this point. And it brings me joy to know that like I'm helping someone who is putting in the work to roll up their sleeves on their end of the things so that their employees have a better leave experience. And we're doing our part in collecting the data and telling them the story that they can bring back to their team to say, we need to do better. It's transformative and it really helps companies help their employees from a benefits perspective as a selling point to say we offer best in class XYZ, whatever that looks like.
How
Yeah.
rewarding is that for you in your role to like help a customer get to that? And
How many what? I'm sorry.
how rewarding is that for you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I always, whenever I look at why I work someplace or why I choose to work someplace, I always think of what is the impact I'm going to have and what is the scale of that impact. And as someone who spent, almost 15 years working in higher education, for me, the impact was those students that I was serving. Those were my customers. That was my audience and what they were going to do with their lives after college. And when I left that space to come into a new space in the tech ed space and also now just in the tech space as a whole, I asked myself the same question. What is the impact that I'm having? I think of all the things that I do on a regular basis that perhaps I don't register in my head of like what it is that I do. I just do because it's our nature in some cases. But then having those conversations to seeing the finish line of like the change that we had. Change can be good and change is scary. But when we're talking about making change that's going to impact employees who I may never ever talk to, what a beautiful thing. And the story that that customer gets to tell their C-suite team about the fact that they have a partner that's supporting their employees when they're going on leave so that they don't need to do anything, but also knowing that they're improving their benefits for the sake of their employee.